first, the business news with Nicholas Poynton, who's in the Auckland newsroom tonight. Nicholas, so you've got a bunch of economic numbers out today and they're painting, well, quite a rosy picture of the economy. Can you give us a bit of a wrap-up of the headline numbers?
Well, yeah, to borrow a term, I'd say we've had a cluster of new economic surveys, numbers and forecasts out today. And starting with ANZ's preliminary survey of business confidence, it's quite a surprising result. You'd be forgiven for thinking that the latest restrictions we saw last month would see business confidence take a bit of a step back. Well, actually, it turns out the opposite has happened in the first week of September. Business confidence, it's up 16 points, and and firms' view of their own future is also up as well. The results certainly surprised ANZ's chief economist Sharon Zollner, who says she did not pick this at all. When I asked her about what's really driving this optimism, she thinks it's because a lot of businesses are taking a much more longer-term view right now with COVID-19. And she says that also the government's fiscal stimulus, that's the wage subsidy, that's really bolstering businesses at the moment. And they believe that the latest restrictions, the effects of it won't persist for much longer. It also says that ANZ has also put out its truckometer. It shows freight movement. So they say this is a really accurate snapshot of what's going on in the economy at the moment. They say that freight movement was down by about 3.5% for the month of August. But the bank's economists, they're saying that they're not sure how accurate this data actually is. That's because, well, when we had those restrictions last month, travel in and out of Auckland was severely hampered with these roadblocks, and that may have added a little bit more noise in the traffic data we saw for the month. Also, we had some numbers out from Stats NZ, that is the wholesale activity in manufacturing sales for the second quarter, and these are the last significant numbers we're going to get out from Stats NZ ahead of the big second quarter GDP numbers next week. And what they show is that for both those categories, the numbers are way down. But look, in line with a lot of what we've been seeing lately, they aren't as bad as first expected. And to top it all off, ASB, they've revised their GDP forecast for next week. Back in May, they said second quarter GDP was going to fall by about 20%. On Monday, they said it was going to fall by about 13%, and they've reduced it once again. They now expect it to reduce by 11%. So if we take a step back from all of these numbers, we throw them all together, what it really shows us is that the economy is in a far better place than many people were expecting way back in March. So there's still a long way to go, but when the recovery gets underway, we will be starting from a much higher base. And just before I leave, I'll do a quick wrap of the markets. There's a sea of red on the NZX today as they followed the big tumble of tech stocks over in the US. Our top 50 index was down by about 1.3%, or 157 points to 11,739. Our dollar is at 66.2 US cents, 91.6 Australian and 51 British pence. And gold, we can't forget, it's down to $1,929 US an ounce.
Thanks, Nicholas. That's Nicholas Poynton with our business wrap.